Welcome, Highfalutin Ski Bum Podcast, episode number 275. Here's your pals, Mario and Brian. Mario, what's up?
Boom, 275. I'm feeling like I'm a little old now. What the hell?
It's like a jubilee and a half, jubilee and a quarter. I don't know how that works. Something jubilee-ish.
Something jubilee-ish.
There should be some sort of coin minted for this episode, perhaps. Let's see. We started in 2015. That means 7 years.
2015? No, really?
Yeah, we started in March of 2015. I'll have to check the actual date, but it's almost our 7-year anniversary. Isn't that madness?
That's a lot of madness. I think we have to have special anniversary with the established EST 2015.
I think so. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what some of our upcoming gear is going to have the established 2015 so people know what's up.
Doing it since 2015.
Still doing
shit
it.
Since
Still
2015.
doing it. That's right. Things have changed a lot, but many things have stayed the same as well. So thank you so much for listening. We do appreciate it. We have an awesome interview this week with U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame inductee Holly Flanders.
Boom.
So
nice.
Stay tuned for that. Thank you for listening. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. We're on the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Untapped at Ski Bum Podcast. Go to your favorite podcasting apps, rate and subscribe. Hit us up if you want stickers or you want to, I don't know, have an idea, comments, thoughts on the podcast, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. Big shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Terracea, terracea.com, TERRACEA.com. Premium Cold Weather Solutions. Their mission, best-in-class apparel that can be worn in any cold temperature environment, designed with thoughtful features and fit and lots of pockets, and always providing the optimum level of performance for whatever you are doing.
We can vouch for that. Awesome stuff.
Yes. We can. We also fully believe in the idea that good products can always be made better and strive to constantly improve, refine, and optimize all facets of our products. Use the code TerraceaBum, 15% off. Make it happen. Also, huge thank you. Paradise Skis, paradiseskis.com. They make seriously fun skis. Paradise Skis is all about making skiing as fun as possible, whether that's shredding laps in Hawaiian shirts, bringing the parking lot après, or getting up early to go for that huge backcountry objective. It's our mission to build skis and snowboards that allow our customers to enjoy every single day in the mountains. Go to their site, paradiseskis.com. Use the code SKIBUM15, 15% off. Boom. Thank you, Paradise Skis. Thank you, Terracea. Mario, let's kick it off the way we always do.
It's time for Après Today.
All right, so Après Today, I was drinking a little wine with food today. Made some fish. It's kind of fish day, had some medical testing done today, and I was feeling like, hey, I should be probably a little bit healthier than I've been eating, and just thinking about shit. So I had a nice meal, little wine.
You're thinking, I got to be healthier. I got to have more wine.
Get have more wine. Glass of wine, they say, is pretty good for you, right? So why not?
6 out of 7 doctors agree.
Exactly. It's just like the
Lucky
gum.
Strikes.
Same thing. That's right. Lucky Strikes. I have the same odds as Lucky Strikes. And I decided, what? I'm done with the wine. Wine was good, but I like a glass. I'm probably like a 2 glass, maybe 2.5 glass guy. And then I got to switch to something else. I'm like, I'm good for that. And then ease into something else. And hit the sweet spot today. A nice Guinness.
Well, it is coming up on St. Patrick's Day.
I know. And I didn't even realize that until after. I'm like, St. Patrick's Day coming up next week. I'm like, I'm actually planning to try to go out for lunch and drink a bunch of beers. I don't know.
Look at you.
We'll see. If anybody from my real job is listening, I'm not really going to go out and drink beers. But if they're not listening, I'm going to drink a shit ton of beers at lunch. Let's put it that way. So I'm gonna arrange it that way. But anyway, I'm sure I'm going to be packing away some Guinness. Maybe some Black and Tans. I don't know.
We had a whole thing about Black and Tans a few months ago, didn't we? We discussed all the different variations and iterations, and there's a lot of different.
The thing is in how you make it. Like you got to have the special spoon, and you got to separate it out. Like it just
too much work.
Chuck it in there.
Too much work.
if you try just pouring it, and it's funny, some people are like, oh, you just pour it in there, it separates itself. No, it doesn't. It makes it all one consistency. You want that separation of the black and the tan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was trying
What
to
do you got,
find a
bro?
stat. I wish I had a stat. Like I love, like in the NFL, they have like all those like brought to you by like AWS, like was it Next Generation Stats? They have all
Yeah.
like that crazy stuff.
Oh, they're advertising the shit out of that too. Everybody's
Yeah,
like,
but there's some really cool stuff that they have. I wish
Yeah.
there was a stat that would show me. Again, I would do nothing with the stat. I just would love to have it. That shows the amount of Guinness consumed worldwide every day. And I want to see the chart be like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Because I feel like March,
I'm looking up right now.
It's
Amount of
gotta-
Guinness consumed daily chart. We got to see it.
there's got to be, you got to think like at least 65% of all Guinness must be consumed in March. Because I don't know how it is in your neck of the world, or maybe in your part of America. Here where I live in the Northeast, people are really love being Irish, whether they're not Irish or they are. So
They just say they're Irish.
it's
a
pretty
blanket.
much the
Yeah.
whole first half of March. There's some sort of St. Patrick's Day every weekend. Like
Exactly.
different towns have different St. Patrick's Days, and they've got to coordinate. So you have one like the first weekend, one the second weekend.
Who's there?
and then
Hoboken
real
does
St.
the
Patrick's Day.
weekend before, right? Because it's so crowded.
The Hoboken one was like 2 weekends before.
All right.
They usually get
And then they
the
have
first
ones-
weekend in March, and then a couple other towns have the next one. And then there's the real St. Patrick's Day parades, which is like New York City and Boston. And so they really, they really own Irishness in St. Patrick's Day.
Irishness. They own it.
Irishosity. So again, it says 13 million pints of Guinness will be consumed worldwide on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, wow. How much?
13 million pints.
Damn.
But how much Guinness is consumed in a year?
How much
that
is
would be
13
cool to
million
see.
pints? You know, I'm trying to type into Google, and my Google's not working.
You gotta use DuckDuckGo, man. They
What
don't
the
track
fuck?
you. They don't track you, man.
I think
Wow.
Google shut me down.
Sales volume growth of Guinness. So 2020, it plummeted 15%. See? Look at that. The Corona was destroying the Guinness.
Boom.
Was there some sort of beverage? Would you call
Corona
that-
destroyed everything. Let's
What
put it
would
that
you
way.
call that? Could you make a black and piss out of Guinness and Corona?
Black and piss. That'd be great. A black and piss.
A black and
Yes.
piss.
I'll have a black and piss.
Imagine going to a proper pub in Dublin and being like, "G'day." They don't say "g'day." I don't know why I'm being Australian.
I
They're
said,
like,
shrimps on the bob.
"Top of the morning to you. I'll have a black and piss."
That
Laddie.
would be fucking great. You go into like,
Just start changing your accents around.
you go in there and just start talking Australian to them. To be like,
I will
like,
say,
what? They'd be so confused.
I will tell you, our pal Nick, when there's been times where I've gone out with him and he's had a couple, and it's funny because he has lived all over the world and all over the US, and when he drinks, he goes into different accents at different times.
Nice.
You get a little bit of like Boston accent, a little bit of Jersey accent, a little bit of Pennsylvania, a little bit of West Coast. It's
Where'd
hilarious.
the Brooklyn come from? What the hell?
There's all over the place accents happening, and it's hilarious.
Oh,
So,
that's funny shit.
shout out to Nick.
Love that.
Yeah, I have no idea. All right, so my app Ray.
Yeah, my
So
Chrome
today-
is just hung up. I can't search anything.
Look, Mario's even gone now. Like the podcast, like it's just off the rails. He just disappeared. So while he's gone, I will go into my après today. Today, I decided to go up to Hunter Mountain in Hunter, New York, and do a little skiing. The weather has been wacky in this area. Monday, I think it got to like 76 degrees where I am in New Jersey. And it was warm. It was crazy. I live by the beach. People actually were at the beach, but it was super windy. And then it dropped 40 degrees overnight. Got cold again. Where I was, it rained up north by Hunter and Poconos and way, way north up in Vermont and New England. They got snow. So I was like, you know what? I'm going. I don't know how many more opportunities in this area we're going to get. Weather's been kind of not so great in February. So I went up Hunter Mountain. Last time I was there was 2 weeks before the world just shut down back in February of 2020. That was my first time there. Hunter is an interesting mountain. It's got such a reputation in the New York City metro area because that's where everybody goes from Jersey, New York, Long Island, because it's pretty much like the first really good mountain you can get to from this area. So the first time I went was in 2020. I went again today. I never seemed to catch it on the right days because it was nice that they had a little bit of snow, but again, it was 70 plus degrees on Monday. Then it dropped. It snowed a little bit, so you had some kind of crazy terrain. A lot of it got wiped out because there was rain after that. But I still had fun. It is a really good mountain. I mean, the trails are fun. It's really steep. So after that, what I like to do when I do these trips, because again, for me, it's 3 hours each way to get up there, which is way too much. I know. Trying to remedy that whole issue. But I like doing something that I did the last time while also doing something new. So new, I found the cool little cafe, got a coffee after skiing. What I did the same is that I went to the Woodstock Brewery up in Phoenicia, New York. And Mario is back, but I can't see him. You there?
Bye, Phoenicia.
Bye, Phoenicia. I was just telling everybody about my trip to Hunter today.
Hunter.
So
Trip to
last
Hunter
time,
Biden?
Hunter Biden, yeah. There's a lot of white stuff on the mountain today for Hunter.
He's in China, right?
Yes. So I went to the Woodstock Brewery, and what's cool is I went there same time 2 years ago, where 2 weeks before the world shut down, and it was a cool little brewery. They had food there, and when everything did shut down and everything went to chaos, it was that place and all the people we met when I went with Rich out to Ellicottville in New York that I thought
Nice.
of. All those little small businesses, like what's going to happen to them? Are they going to be okay? Not that I really did anything for them because, what am I going to... I had more pressing issues at that moment, but I thought about them at least. So it was cool. Last summer, we did a family trip up to that same area and saw that the brewery is not only still open, but they are thriving. They kind of opened a second section up there. They have a whole outdoor area that's really sweet. So I went back there today. Had a good burger there. They had a smash burger. I put everything on there. Added extra. Added bacon. Added cheese. Added avocado like a goddamn savage.
There you go.
And
they're on.
I was talking to the guy, and I said, "I'm thinking IPAs. What can you do for me?" And he's like, "Well, we have this one that's more like a West Coast." I'm like, "What's more like New England, super citrusy, a little bit hazy?" And he directed me towards this one. It's called Rip Enomatic.
Nice.
IPA from Woodstock Brewing. Let's see if they have a description on here. I believe they do. Ripomatics are roughly the same as animatics, except you take images from magazines or other sources to create it. Better for brainstorming, that sort of thing. Those are words.
Nice.
Rip Enomatic. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but damn, this is a tasty beer. Not a citrus, not a pineapple. Very smooth. 6 point. I'm talking 6.3 maybe.
6.3?
I think it's 6.3. Yeah, 6.3. So just the right amount. Had one there on draft. See, Phoenicia.
Nice. Phoenicia.
Phoenicia. Phoenicia, New York. Cool little spot. There's a brewery. There's a pizzeria. No cell signal there either, which is kind of nice. I got to tell you.
Oh, that's cool.
I couldn't even get yelled at for where are you? Why aren't you home yet?
Oh, sorry. I got no cell service.
No cell service. But
Take it from Tony Soprano. There's never cell service around.
Yeah, but it's cool because it was there like after skiing, and it was tough today because when I first got there, it was really icy and nice and fast.
No, not icy.
I mean, not even bad icy. It's actually like really nice because
Good icy, fast icy.
Well, it froze over, but it wasn't like super wet to super frozen. So it was great. It was when I first got there, it was awesome. But then it started getting really soft, really mashed potatoey by like noon because the sun was. I think it got up to like 43 degrees by then.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's just my skis, the skis that I was on today, those Armadas, all they want to do is go fast. So when you got that, start to get that mashed potato-y bits, it's buttery for a bit and it's nice, but once the car gets into mashed potato mode, it's just
not good.
You're pushing so much, like you're doing so much work, and
it's not fun.
I was having a lot of fun. And I was like, I'm gonna do a couple more runs, and they have a trail called, I think it's Race Trail. It's where they actually do some of their like slalom racing.
Oh, cool.
It's short, but it's really steep. And I was flying down, doing like nice big like super G turns.
Nice.
And I got towards the bottom, and you know when you hit that slush and it just slows you down.
Stop. You can almost do a full double eject if your bindings aren't really tight. It's horrible.
I felt my whole body like fly to the side, and somehow I kept it together. I'm like, I'm done. To the brewery. Like, I'm not even pushing this anymore. I'm not going to take any more chances. Like,
no messing. Yeah.
You just
no messing with it.
Sometimes the mountain just tells you, like, we're done for the day. You know?
It's got to listen to the world around you and just say, it's time to hang it up for the day.
Listen to the mountain. Yes. So I went to Woodstock. I got this beer. They're doing a great job. Thank you, Woodstock Brewery. Thank you, Hunter. It was a fun day today.
Nice. And that's the scene of the original Woodstock, right?
No. It's actually in Saugerties, New York.
Oh, Saugerties. That's right.
Which is kind of right up the road from there. But that same general Catskilly area.
In the vicinity.
A lot of hippies up there still. You know, a lot of... And I'll tell you...
their Prius.
I'll tell you, Hunter and Mountain Creek, I have never seen so many people drinking on the mountain.
Nice.
Those two places. Like, you ever seen
drinking?
I think it's The Kind sells it. It's almost like a Chewbacca sling, but you put like, it fits like 6 cans of beer, and you wear it kind of. I saw like multiple people with that. People actually like drinking while they're snowboarding, usually snowboarding, not skiing.
Nice.
Call them as I see them. It is what it is. But people actually like drinking. People like, I saw one guy like pounding a Truly at the top of the lift, like chucking it in the garbage. I mean, it was noon on a Thursday.
Pounding a Truly? Come on, man.
Pounding a Truly.
Come on, man.
Mountain Creek and Hunter, they have to have some sort of battle royale for who drinks more on the mountain. It was just...
So let me ask you, do you consider it really drinking when you're drinking a Truly? It's kind of like the other water.
But he was pounding it Truly. It wasn't like he was like sipping it with his finger out, like,
pound water
like
too, boy.
Around.
Doesn't mean you're a man.
Does water have an alcohol content? Like, I get wanting to have a couple drinks and having fun, but it's...
Might as well just pound a kombucha.
Might as well just get a Truly tampon.
That's right. Truly tampon. There you go.
There you go.
Throw that on for... Try that on for size.
There you go. All right. So with that,
let's go to ski news.
The demise of the paper trail map.
This is a very touchy subject for us because I know you're collecting and I just I like them. So
this was an article that was on skimag.com. Long a mainstay of the lift line maze, paper trail maps have fallen victim to a combination of cost cutting and environmental sustainability.
So I like that they mentioned it in the first sentence there is everybody says it's environmental stability, but you know what it's really about? Cost cutting.
Of course.
Under the guise of being environmentally friendly, we're going to save a bunch of money and you guys will figure out how to get around the mountain on your own.
Exactly. So according to a report in the New York Times, resorts across North America are doing away with physical pocket maps and asking skiers to view trail information online. Free paper maps used to be a mainstay in lift lines and at base area lodges around the country, but that is no longer the case. At Vail Resort's 37 ski areas, guests must now ask a guest services representative for a map. California's Big Bear Mountain Resort stopped printing maps 2 seasons ago. Powder, a company that operates 10 ski areas, including Utah's Snowboard, now displays QR codes on the old map distributors. The code takes users to a digital map. Aspen, Colorado, still prints approximately 30,000 paper maps each year for its 4 resorts, but that's down from the former print run of 300,000. Now, I wonder, there's a few more articles in here about that. They said
I go back
that,
and forth on this. So this year when I went to Crested Butte, they only have the map online. They give you the QR code. That's fine. But
that's the Vail move.
the one thing I do not want to do when I'm on a freaking mountain or on a lift, be
Pull
on
out
my
your
phone.
phone. Yep.
Pull out my phone. So I got to pull out my phone, take my gloves off, got to fucking play around with my phone, try to get signal, try to get a map, or try to download. Oh, I didn't download the map before, so I got to wait till I'm in cell service to download the map, and then I can have it on my phone. But at the end of that, I'm like, I don't even want to know where I'm going. I don't give
What
a
about
shit.
if it's like frigid out and like you got to like take off your gloves and turn on your phone?
It's just annoying as shit. So
Yeah.
you know what they should do on every lift, in every gondola, when you get off of every lift, before you go on a run, have a freaking map on the thing there so that I can look at where I want to go and plan my route.
Yeah, I like when they have the chairlifts that have the trail map like right on
Yeah.
the lap bar. That's pretty cool. Places that have that.
But there hasn't been a single gondola that I've been on that has a map in the gondola. Why not?
Why don't they have
right in the gondola?
Yeah, or why don't you have some sort of screen? Now I wonder, like, how far are we away from goggles? 'Cause remember, like Oakley had those AR goggles a couple years ago, where it
Yeah.
had some like information on there, and I don't know if you had to hook up to your phone or how it worked exactly. But how cool would it be if you had like an AR mode in your goggles and you could like turn it on, and it would almost give you like a Waze or Google Maps of the trails that you're on.
Yeah. But you got to know where you want to go. If you're looking at that turn by turn, right?
Like a Minority Report, you're like moving your hands around, like doing all kind of signals, and it kind of
Yeah.
like zooms out the map, and you could like
Well, I like
point to
when
where you
you
want to
get
go.
off a lift or a gondola and they have the giant map there. They should have more of those everywhere because you know what happens is you stop and you're like, oh, I forgot where I am, or they don't have things marked properly and you don't want to get lost, right? So it's kind of
Well, the giant map is great. The problem with the giant map, and again, no solution is perfect.
right.
And I know Whistler did it, which I really liked. They actually showed they had the big map, but they also had the lights for the trails and the gondolas. So it showed you which gondolas or lifts were open.
Right. Right.
You know, because again, the map is awesome, but if you're like, hey, we're going way over here,
And it's closed.
like, did you check if it was open? It's like, oh, now we're here. We're stuck. This sucks. We got to hoof it back up or whatever.
Right.
That can happen too. So again,
Yeah.
I mean, not that a paper map would help you in that situation, but that seems to me seems to be the best solution when you have the board with the lights showing you what's open.
Yeah. So when I went to Snow Basin, they do paper maps still. And I was like so surprised.
You
I was
sent
like,
me one.
I was like, oh my God, they still have the paper. So I got one. I sent one to you. I got an extra one. Had one from last year. I'm like, oh, that's great that they're still doing it. And it's actually on paper that's a little more durable to like water. I wouldn't say it's plastic, but plastic map would be the way to go too. I like that.
Yeah.
Environmentally unfriendly, but really durable.
It's like if you get those like New York City subway maps, and it kind of like you flip it open, it's like the laminated,
Yep.
right?
Boom.
I'm telling you, man, my collection of trail maps may become super valuable one day because
I got them on a box waiting.
when paper maps are no longer a thing, I will still have these bad boys.
When we talked about, there's like artwork. There's the guy that they did the book on,
James Nehus.
Nehus, yeah, who did all the map renditions, and like there's an art to that. And yeah, it's not in scale, but it gets you the map on a single piece of paper that you can follow. and not get lost. Like it's pretty amazing that you can do that. And that's going to be a lost art. Then what are you going to do? GPS, then okay, you don't have a map, then I don't know. The whole phone thing, I just don't like. So you get lost and you're in the middle of a trail. You got to try to get cell service, hoping you get cell service to pull a map down, or hoping that you downloaded the map. And then you're going to sit there, look with your gloves off in the middle of the trail at your phone, like staring at your phone like a dumbass. Like, I just don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder too if James Nehu's retiring played into this decision at all.
Again, they want to be environmentally friendly, but they're also saving a shit ton of money and not helping you out. Like you said, have more people, have more, because anytime they have mountain ambassadors, I love it. Usually they're volunteer anyway, but you ask them where to go and they're like, oh yeah, go over here. And today it's not that great. Go to this other place. And I love talking to them because they're like all jazzed and excited and they know the mountain. They're like, yeah, this isn't too good right now, but you might want to come back later in the day and go do that run. They give you a little advice there while they're giving you directions. And they're super helpful. I mean, Snow Basin and Crested Butte this year, you're looking at the big map and they have the information people right there. And they're like, hey, where you want to go? And they're like, they just start grabbing people like, where you looking to go? And they'll start pointing shit out on the map. And I love that. It's that interactivity that you get with somebody that knows the mountain. Yeah. It's nice.
And of course, Vail is going to use that cost saving tip because stockholders first, skiers last. That's their motto.
We're all about saving money.
Just an FYI for any of you MTN stockholders, they started the year at 321. They're currently at 244.
Ooh, taking a big whop in the nuts.
Hope you enjoyed your 20% off Epic Pass.
There you go.
Haircut.
Yeah, so I don't know. I missed the paper trail map.
I'm a fan.
It's one of those things. Maybe you don't want to have like 5 paper trail maps when you go out. Like it's great, just take one when you need it. But it's also a nice souvenir that you don't have to pay for. You get it. You bring it home.
You paid for it.
You paid for it.
You paid for it.
The price of lift tickets, you paid for it.
Yep.
That's a nice keepsake.
I first experienced that last year at Breckenridge, the whole QR code thing. Because I asked the guy, I'm like, oh, can I have a trail map? They're like, well, we're just doing QR codes now.
Yeah.
Like you can go down to guest services, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
You look at them like, I can't process. Like, what?
Yeah. I just paid $189 for a lift ticket, and you can't give me a goddamn trail map?
Yeah. You want to save the environment that bad? How about saving the environment by like not charging me as much and then saying, hey, you know what? Got a QR code. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got to be a better way.
We'll figure it out. I think the AR on the goggles could be the way to go.
Then again, you got to have it charged. You got to have some equipment. It's a bunch of.
You get a little solar panel on your helmet.
Whatever happened to looking at a fucking map, tucking it away in your pocket in case you need it, and then just skiing.
What about
no technology, nothing?
How about some bootleg trail maps?
That'll be better. We'll be in the parking lot. Yo, man, I got your trail map right here.
Yo, my man, you need a trail map?
Trail map.
$10.
$20. Oh no, you jack it up like $50.
And then you start selling like bootleg ones that are like all messed up, like the wrong stuff. You're like, there's no trail that does this.
But that'll be great. You'll keep all the private stash stuff like hidden. Like, man, I bought this trail map. He didn't say anything about this. No, that's unmarked on that map. You got to pay the extra money.
That's the $10 map. This is the $20 map, which actually has all the stuff on it.
That's right. It's only from the one guy in the corner that everybody like. It's a little scam you got going.
I would not be surprised if they did start selling the trail maps for like $1 or $2 in the future. Not?
I got pretzels and trail maps.
Well, think about it.
Right in the parking lot.
You always buy your stuff online beforehand. It's like they have a checkbox there. It's like, hey, just have it checked by default, and it's like $5 for trail map.
Yeah. Or I love it. Like they don't print out the trail map, but like you could print your own. Okay, so now I got to have a printer, and I got to buy paper and print their shit in there and print this thing. And you're going to run out of ink or something's going to happen. You're like, I got this map that just got wet and all of a sudden just ran everywhere. Like it's
can't
just
see nothing.
Silliness. Absolute silliness.
Well, speaking of silliness, how about this next story?
Boom. Vail police have cited 31 people for lift ticket fraud this season.
Dun, 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 dun.
Max
Bad
fine.
boys, bad boys. What you gonna do?
Max fine is $999, otherwise known as 666 upside down.
What you gonna do if the pick on the pass ain't you? Bad boys, bad boys. What you
Yeah.
gonna do? What you
Or
gonna do if the
180
pick on
days
the
in
pass
jail.
ain't you?
Damn. 180 days in jail. So according to the Vail
180
police,
days in fucking jail for using
crazy.
someone else's Epic Pass. That
That's
is
just bullshit.
beyond insanity.
That's beyond bullshit. So according to the Vail police, in a press release, lift ticket fraud is on the rise as 31 people have been cited for deceptive use as of March 8th compared to 27 total citations for the entire previous ski season.
That was the beauty of masks.
Yeah, exactly.
The beauty of masks is they couldn't tell if it was you or not.
Yeah. So CBS 4 reports Vail police are working in conjuncture with Vail Mountain to bust fraudulent pass users. Investigators say that the weeks leading up to the end of the season are typically the busiest times for ski pass fraud. As technology improves every year, so does the difficulty of using a borrowed pass. Vail police want the public to know that this is a crime and has a pretty severe punishment if fraudulent use is identified. Suspects are either issued a summons into court and released or arrested depending on the circumstance. The charge can carry a maximum fine of up to $999, the devil's number upside down, and or 180 days in jail. The original pass holder doesn't avoid state law either. They can have their ski pass revoked as a result of its misuse.
So what if someone stole your pass?
Yeah, then you get screwed.
Isn't that what you always say? Dude, I didn't know it was gone. Someone stole it.
I don't know. I had it in my ski bag and it's just gone. I don't know what happened, man. Somebody jacked it. I figured I was going to look for it this week, see if I just misplaced it. But
so now, what are they doing?
Yeah.
So how are they actually identifying people? Because I think when you scan your pass, it shows a picture of you. Like it shows your picture from your pass, right?
If you look close enough, it's like a fake ID.
But again, if you have like your goggles on and a mask,
right?
Now, if you were borrowing someone's goddamn pass, wouldn't you wear dark goggles and a face mask when you scanned it and went through the lift line? Like, wouldn't that just wouldn't you be smart enough to at least do that?
At the end of the day, does it make a shit of a difference? Somebody paid for that pass to be used. You're not getting 50 people using one pass in the same day. You're getting one pass being used in the same day. They got their money. They're not at a loss. Doesn't really matter that you got to go and start charging people with stuff. I don't know. It just doesn't seem cool.
Wasn't there a pass that was transferable?
Yes, that would be the gold pass,
The
which is the
USA
baller
Gold.
pass. That's right.
Not
Transferable.
only does it give you unlimited, exclusive, and fully transferable access to more than 250 resorts in the USA.
That's the non-ghetto pass. That's the baller ass pass. You buy a few of those, but like, hey, you want to use my pass? I'll loan it to you. If you're willing to part with it and give somebody that gold pass and hope that they don't take off with it, then go right ahead.
Well, you know
It's
what?
transferable.
You know what? I am making a stance right now. I don't believe inflation is real because the U.S. Gold Pass is still only $12,500. If inflation was real, it would be up to $15,000 by now.
Dude, it is a bargain. It's a bargain.
When a loaf of bread is $8,000 and this thing is still $12,500, you're going to go, buying this pass was the best thing I ever did.
And it's a $12,500 donation to the USA ski team.
So you get a tax write-off, don't you? Perhaps?
Yeah. You can write some of that off on taxes or all of it. I don't know. You can write it all.
Write it off, baby.
And every trip is sponsoring the USA ski team and snowboard team. Why can't you say like the entire trip is? The hotel, the lodging, If you're a tax professional, write to us and tell us how wrong that is.
Tell us.
Because in my mind, I'm thinking you write it all off.
And this is why I don't do my own taxes. I would just write everything off.
Just write it off. It's a write-off.
It's a goddamn write-off. I think it is.
Hey, anybody want to go have a meal while I'm on my trip? Because that's part of this supporting the USA ski team.
Yeah. So if you're going to use someone else's pass, just please be smart. Just put on dark goggles and a face mask, and no one's going to know it's you.
You also
Or
gotta
not
want to
you.
look like them, right? Like, I'm not always this Caucasian looking. You want to kind of look like the part. I don't know.
Well, the moral of the story is don't be too weird looking.
Don't be too weird looking. Yeah,
Just be good looking and borrow a good looking person's pass, and you'll be fine.
that's right.
But again, you wear a dark goggles, you put on a face mask, you go through the thing, they won't even know.
It's really cold out. You wear a whole face mask. Wear the Cthulhu mask that I had.
The Cthulhu
Nobody knows
mask.
who's under there. It's
No one knows
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Yeah.
He's just freaking skiing. All right.
The Dark Lord Cthulhu is underneath there. It's fine.
That's right. In the picture, Cthulhu.
180 days in jail.
Bullshit.
Who decided that? Like,
Dude,
what
man,
sort
I'm
of
serving hard.
ridiculous.
You doing Oz because you fucking stole a list pass. Come on.
This is like Cool Hand Luke stuff here. Like, this is ridiculous.
You're like protecting your butt cheeks, not dropping the soap because you stole a lift pass? Really? You going to Supermax?
180 days in jail or $1,000?
Going to freaking
I'd be like,
Rikers.
yeah, here's the money. Like, I'll just get the money to avoid going to jail.
Better watch out. You go to Hunter, you steal that pass, going to Rikers.
There was no photo necessary for Hunter.
See, because they know. They're like, why are we going to be this critical? Somebody paid for the pass. It's
But also,
legitimate.
too, what is it? It
We
says
sold
like,
the ticket.
but it also says depending on the circumstances. What does that mean?
So let me ask. So like
Is it
whenever they go
if it's
through
a
court
Tuesday,
case-
it's all right. If it's a Sunday, it's not okay. Like, what does that depending on the circumstances mean?
yeah, right. So let me ask this.
I don't like any of this.
So whenever you go to a lawsuit, right, they start talking about damages. What are the damages in you using somebody else's pass when you're not using it at the same time?
You didn't buy a $209 a day lift ticket at Vail.
But my friend did, and I'm using his lift ticket. While you say it's not transferable, you're not at a loss because it's still the one ticket that was paid for.
It's all these idiots trying to cover up. They're all trying to get the money back that they didn't make when they sold the Epic passes at 20% discounts, and they're trying
That's
to
right.
make that up on the backside.
And now it's the ghetto pass. Do the USA ski team, get the gold pass. Non-ghetto.
Like a grown up.
Do it whatever you want to do. Hey, you know what? My pass is in my car. Just open my car, just grab the pass, and go ahead and jet out to the ski area, whichever one you want, because it's good everywhere. Everywhere. I would have that thing like I'd be mailing it to people. Hey, you want a contest? It's like a chain letter. You got to mail to your next friend. That'd be great. Just get like a chain letter pass that you just mail around.
That would be pretty awesome.
That would be pretty cool. See if it could get used every day of the season. Every freaking day. Like however many days you can get out of it.
Hire a personal courier to take it to people.
You could actually have 2 or 3 people use it a day. Be like, yeah, you only ski half of the day. Give it to this next person for the other half.
Yeah. One season, I want to get
And then
the
night
US.
skiing.
One season, I want to get the US Gold Pass.
Oh yeah.
Just to say I got it.
Dude, you gotta plan that out though. There's gotta be.
That's got to be like the year you retire.
Does your company offer sabbatical?
My company doesn't offer anything. I'm not going to have a company. My company is going to be skibumpodcast.com.
Boom. I hear about companies offer sabbatical, and I'm like, that's freaking awesome. I've heard shit like when I was at Time, it was year sabbatical after like 20 years. I'm like, so you get a 1-year paid sabbatical. I'm like, why wouldn't you ski the entire year? That's when you get the gold pass.
That's the year to do it.
Like I'm skiing everywhere.
I went to a conference a bunch of years ago, and there was this one like famous design studio. I think every 5 years they would take off a year. Like the whole studio would take off a year, and they would do their own thing. I guess
I just heard about something. 10 years, you get a month paid sabbatical. I'm like, wow, a month's not too bad. You could chain that together with some vacation time, maybe a leave of absence.
2 months, yeah.
You know, oh, I had another baby that you're never going to see or have proof of, but you know, I need that chained onto my sabbatical. And actually, if you don't have any kids, why can't you take a parental leave of absence just to go skiing? Right?
I don't know how you justify that, but
well, Mother Nature's a mother, and I'm a baby, so I'm watching my own baby. I'm watching myself ski.
If you can get HR to sign off on it, God bless you.
HR, nothing. I'm taking this to the Supreme Court
Supreme Court. That's right.
because we got unqualified people getting elected to the Supreme Court now. So I don't give a shit. I'm just going right up there. I'm doing it.
Going for it.
With all the other shit they got going on, they're probably like, yeah, sure. This is going right through.
Just shut him up.
Shut him up. Get him out of here. How is he going to leave? Just tell him yes. Okay, I'm out.
Well, speaking of going for it, there's a company called Dolagon, which, if you kind of
sounds
look
like
at
something out of freaking The Hobbit, right?
Well, they took the gon from gondola and put it behind the dola.
They're doling out the
Dolagon.
gondola.
Autonomous ski lift vehicle.
Nice.
A self-driving personal snowcat brings you to the powder. The Dolagon autonomous vehicle picks skiers up at any base location and drives them to higher elevations, allowing access to on-trail and backcountry ski areas.
That's
Once
awesome.
disembarked at top, skiers give Dolagon the command to begin its descent. While skiers enjoy their run, Dolagon drives itself down the mountain to meet them at the bottom.
Nice. It
This
looks
is just
awesome,
fantastic.
and the video is great, but I could see this plowing over a bunch of skiers one day.
I wonder what sort of safety features it has.
None. Absolutely none.
Absolutely
And there
none.
shouldn't be any. It
Yeah.
should just be the Dolagon's running. Everybody run for your goddamn life.
Yeah.
It's out of control. Run,
When you're
run.
going to have Dolagon Wranglers who are going to be like
That's right.
on like snowmobiles with
That's
like
right.
lassos, like trying to like grab the
Yeah.
steering wheel. and
Come
point
on,
at the
big boy.
sun.
We got him. Whoa.
Now, what this thing is, it looks, you've probably seen these at ski resorts. They look kind of like, almost like kind of like jacked up golf carts that are on those
It's like
treads.
an ATV with treads, right?
Yeah, it's sort of like an ATV / golf cart with the treads. I know I've seen them before. I think up at Sugar
That
Bush I
has
saw one.
all makings of an automated beer cart. That's all I'm saying.
For sure. You could do a lot of other stuff with this thing, I assure you.
Riding around the mountain, giving out
But-
beers.
But it looks like it's got a bunch of satellites and GPS, and yeah, I guess you just tell it. I don't know if does it follow you? Like, imagine it's just like you got to have some sort of like device on you, and it follows you wherever you're going. It just won't stop. It's like a Terminator. It's just
Dude,
kind
if
of
you
like
fall,
hunting you
it's
down.
gonna just run you down.
Yeah. I thought we were friends, Mario.
Dude, this could be
I
a
thought
great
we were
horror
friends.
movie for this thing. Like the fucking Dolagon that like stalks people. It's like you're out there in the woods and you just hear an engine going. It's fucking Dolagon coming at you.
Yep.
I love this idea.
I love the idea.
And the treads are all like I would just want to ride around on one of these bad boys.
I know. It's super sweet. There's a video on the website. So there's a how it works section. So step 1, Dolagon picks up skiers at bottom and autonomously drives them to the top. Step
Nice.
2, skiers unload at top and instruct Dolagon to begin its descent. Step 3, while skiing, Dolagon is driving itself to the bottom and murdering bystanders.
Damn.
Step
So
4,
if you have like a Tesla, a self-driving Tesla, can't you just put treads on that bad boy and do the same thing?
who can stop you?
Dude, I get my Cybertruck. I'm doing this shit with it.
Step 4,
Put some
skiers
fucking
and Dolagon.
treads on it, and everybody run for your life because that thing's gonna run everything over.
Yeah.
Go through lift lines.
Yeah, there's some videos on the website. It's pretty cool. I would check it out.
Dolagon goes through a lift line. That's the next headline I see.
This thing is awesome. I could just see so many people, like so many lawsuits from this thing.
I can see dipshits like falling in front of Dolagon and it runs them over. Like, what did you think? It's on autopilot. Don't get in its way. Ski
Yeah.
somewhere else. Like, why would you ski in front of the Dolagon? Then again, somebody's gonna want to jump it or huck off it. Like, this could be
Oh,
something.
of course. Remember like that like super old like SNL skit with Happy Fun Ball?
Yeah,
It's like don't taunt Happy Fun Ball. It's like
that's right.
don't taunt Dolagon.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's pretty sweet though. If you got say you had a ton of land, and of course you're not building a lift there. There's some sort of zoning laws or issues, or you're just lazy, and you just bought this bad boy. Now we have this, and we have that Kickstarter with that little mini rope tow
Yeah.
So they're coming up with all kinds of crazy ways to be able to access terrain that has no lift service,
So
which
think
is
of this. You're in the
tremendous.
middle of nowhere in your private yurt. You got the fire going. You're settling down. You're getting all cozy. A fucking Dolagon just rolls right through that thing.
It could happen. It could happen.
In the middle of the night, of course, because
Yep.
somebody got run over and the Dolagon's still going around. Cannot compute kilo humans.
That's very possible. It could get hacked. Maybe they have some like, crappy
great-
software.
Great setup for a horror movie.
It's
I
like
gotta say.
it's like that. What was that movie Frozen? When people get stuck on the chairlift.
Oh, that was the yeah, and the
It was
wolves
called
came.
Frozen.
It was in like New England too. It's like right outside of Boston. It's like
Yeah.
that's really gonna happen.
Well, same thing. It could.
It
This
could.
could be the follow-up.
It could. This is in the summer, like Jason's running around killing everybody, and in the winter, this is Dolagon. The Dolagon is out there. It's like the Yeti.
Yep. All right. Well, that thing is awesome. And speaking of awesome, we're going to roll into our main topic. I had the honor to interview Holly Flanders, who, if you're unfamiliar, she is an inductee in the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame this season.
Awesome.
She is a 3-time World Cup ski race champion, former Olympian. She started her own clinics out in Park City, Utah. Her son is a X Games world champion.
Nice.
She's doing motivational speaking.
Her motivational speaking site looked pretty badass. I was like, very interesting.
Yeah, she's also a competitive mountain biker. Like, she is just an awesome lady. She was great enough to take the time to chat with us. So I think you're going to really enjoy this. So please check it out. Holly Flanders. All right. And we have another very special guest. We're honored to have Holly Flanders, a U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame inductee this year, former Olympian, motivational speaker. Holly, thank you so much for joining this week.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And we had a little bit of logistical issues getting connected here, but I'm glad everything worked out. Really appreciate your time. And could you go into a little introduction, a little bit more about yourself?
Yes. I grew up in New Hampshire, skied Mount Sunapee and Pat's Peak, and then went to Burke Mountain Academy. And then I scraped my way up to the U.S. ski team and won 3 World Cup downhills. I was in 2 Olympics, 80 and 84. That was Lake Placid and Sarajevo. I won 2 national championships. I don't know, I think probably 6 World Cup podiums, something like that.
Just so many of them.
21 top 10s. I'm trying to dig up the stats. But anyway, that's kind of it.
No, that's really cool. I mean, your story is awesome. And, and you mentioned like Sarajevo too, with all the craziness in the world. Like, I'm sure you've seen the pictures of like what Sarajevo, what the Olympic site looks like now. It's like this, like, crazy post-apocalyptic, venue now after war. And it's horrible. And, there's all kinds of craziness going on in the world. And, skiing is one of those things that, it seems superfluous to a lot of folks, but those of us who love it and are passionate about it, you realize it's almost like this zen, this it's like the one, when everything is wrong in the world, it's like the one thing that's kind of makes you feel right.
It's a constant.
Yes.
Nature,
gravity
and nature, and gravity and movement and flow.
If there's one thing we can at least depend on, it's gravity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And taxes.
And taxes, right? Death and taxes, as Ben Franklin said. He wasn't a big skier though, so he forgot about gravity.
That's right.
So one thing I liked on your website is you mentioned that one of your coaches referred to you as a bag of bolts.
Yes.
What was it about skiing that made you want to, keep going and push yourself to get to that highest level?
I was called a bag of bolts in a slalom ski race at Killington when I was 18 years old. I was off balance. My arms were flailing. Basically, my talent was gliding on the snow, the glide, the straight glide where you kind of let your skis float and it feels insecure because it feels more secure to stay on your edges, but that's slower. So learned the upper body discipline and the turns later on, but the ability to let the skis run fast is kind of rare, and you can't train that in. So I was, I loved skiing, and I knew I was making my way up the ranks, but in a slalom I was hopeless, and I didn't look good in the downhills either, but I was fast. So that kept me going, and I really loved it. And I just knew, you just kind of know something at your core when it's right. And I just knew that it was right to keep on going.
And that's tough, especially at that age too. When, that's sort of the age where it's like, hey, go to college and you can go get this
Yeah.
degree and do this. And people kind of I'm sure people told you to go, oh, maybe you should go and focus on something else instead. But
Absolutely.
but that
Yes.
determination. I mean,
I went to Middlebury College. I went to Burke my senior year in high school, and then did a postgraduate year there and trained a lot and raced a lot and started racing some downhills. And then I did go to Middlebury College for one semester in Vermont, and I took that winter off to race. And that winter I made the US B team from my downhill results. So that was the end of, going to college full time for me. And I just kept going from there.
I think you made the right choice.
Yeah.
You could have been an accountant.
Yeah. Well, I can still be an accountant.
In the world, there's a Holly that's an accountant.
Exciting 10 years on the World Cup circuit.
That's pretty incredible. And I guess, I'm sure you've seen it now. I'm guessing that the way they train, the training process that you were dealing with, or what you were not subjected to, that's the wrong word, which you are part of at Burke, has probably changed a lot than how they're training kids today.
Well, there are some changes, but I haven't kept touch with exactly how they're training today, but I know that a lot of it remains the same. It's a lot of focus and hard work, and the basics are the same. The equipment has changed. The equipment
has changed, yeah.
Yeah. I like that the equipment has changed to the shape skis. They're so much more fun to ski.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I guess back then too, that time there really weren't Americans making waves on the World Cup, on the international circuit, like there are now. So you probably felt even more kind of outside the bubble than.
True.
Like now you have a Lindsey Vonn, you have Michaela Schifrin, you see these folks who are winning gold medals, they're on podiums, they're making it to the Olympics, and you're like, oh, well, I can be like her. You were a little more of a pioneer then, right? I mean, you had a Barbara Cochran, obviously after, watching Ryan this Olympics and, seeing him and his mother, which was great. But there wasn't a whole bevy of women skiers that you could look to for inspiration.
We had Cindy Nelson, who had won a couple of World Cups before I came onto the scene. And then, but we were doing poorly as a team. And we pulled together as a team. Our coaches had a meeting and then said, listen, you guys need to pull together. You need to act as a team. You need to cheer each other on, even if you don't feel like it. If you finished your race and you want to go to your room because you're tired and you hurt, you go to the finish and you cheer on every American till they finish. And if you don't like a person, you learn to put up with them. And we actually pulled together as a team. And if there were people we didn't like, we actually started accepting each other and then liking each other. It was funny, but that really helped us. And then the coaches told us to stop copying the Europeans and innovate, ski our own way. That made a big difference too. So in 1982, the US women's ski team won the Nations Cup, which means all the combined points of the women's team were the most. We won that, which had never happened before, and it hasn't happened since yet. So we had a good amount of depth. I won 2 World Cups that year, and got some other top 10s, a lot of top 10s. So that was really exciting that we were the best team in the world in 1982.
That's awesome. Yeah, and again, the fact that it hasn't been done since then is pretty incredible too.
Yeah.
So one of the things that kind of I took notice of when I was looking at your nomination is about who nominated you. And again, we kind of mentioned, Barbara Cochran and Ryan. So who was the one who nominated you? Because to get into the US Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, you have to be nominated by someone, and then a couple other people have to kind of, I guess, agree or
right.
Like a second, third, and fourth person to kind of back you up for this nomination.
Right. It was my son, Alex Schlopey, and he was like, "Mom, I want to nominate you into the US Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame." Okay. But Alex was a slopestyle and big air skier. He's not competing now, but in 2011, he won the first World Championships in slopestyle skiing, and he won the X Games in big air skiing. And then he also won some Dew Tour and World Cup competitions. So, he's made it quite to the top himself, but he
That's
wanted
awesome,
to nominate me. And then my coaches all wrote letters of recommendation.
It's really beautiful. And, again, I just want to, I've mentioned it on our podcast before, and I want to mention to you too, like one of the things we've been doing this for like 6 years now. One of the things that's changed originally, my co-host and I, it was us going up every weekend to Vermont. We did a share house at Killington. We'd be skiing up there.
Mm-hmm.
And now life has taken us in different directions. And now I'm a dad, I have 2 kids, and I'm trying to give them the gift of skiing. I'm trying to I don't have much to give them, I'll be honest. So it's one of the things I'm trying to share with them and bring this love of the sport to them at a young age. I didn't get into it. I mean, I skied maybe 3 times until I was 30. And then I discovered it later in life. And I was like, and I get to see those, because I had those kids, those friends in school who would, we're going to Breckenridge for Christmas break. We're going to Vail. And I'm like, oh, that seems cool. But my family doesn't do that. And eventually, I got to do it. And I want to give them, I want to put them in the mountains. I want to show them what it's about and give them that gift. And that's why I see something, your son, you gave him that gift, obviously. And how was that as a mother, growing up and teaching him?
Well, it was great. I taught him to ski, and then while I ran women's ski workshops at Park City and Canyons for several years, and while I was doing that, I would put him in the ski lessons, and I kind of pushed him towards racing a little bit. He didn't want to race, which was fine, but he started building jumps with his little friend, Joss Christensen, who Joss actually went on to win the first gold medal in the Olympics in 2014 in slopestyle skiing. But it was really fun watching him make his way up the ranks, and he just worked. He loved it so much. He worked really hard at it, and I was so proud. I think when he won the X Games, I was more proud of him than I have been of myself, when I won my first World Cup. So that was cool. Exciting.
Yeah. And how old was he when you first got him out there?
He was, I think he was 3 when I first got him out there. Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. I'm trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, okay, my son is 4 now, and I had him on the leash at first, and I finally got him off the leash this year. I let him follow me down, and
excellent.
And he's doing it. And again, it's I have no credentials or medals or anything. I'm just a sad old guy in a basement trying to ski. But
that's all you need.
To see him come down behind me and follow me down, it was one of the greatest feelings of my life. I was so happy. So
that's great.
I can I mean, it doesn't match a son getting an X Games medal or anything, but it's one of those things as a parent, you want to feel like you want those little signals that you're doing something right. Because there's so many days where you're yelling at him, you're like, I suck as a parent, I need to step my game up.
Yes.
Those little tiny nuggets of inspiration and happiness is just, keeps you going.
Well, your kids are lucky that you're getting them out skiing, because that's an amazing gift to give a youngster.
I totally agree, and thank
Yes.
you. And I know you mentioned your son Alex. How has your family shaped your ski career?
Oh, that's a great question. M- My dad got us skiing on weekends at Mount Sunapee as a family when I was young. I learned when I was 3. My sister Deb Flanders is 5 years older than me, and she decided she wanted to ski race. So she went on to become one of the top, most promising downhillers on the World Cup circuit at the age of 17. But then she broke her leg and couldn't compete at that level after that. So she started coaching at Pat's Peak. When she was 20 and I was 15, I joined that program and got some great coaching. And my brother Jay taught me to ride a motorcycle, and
Hmm.
he went in some little local bike races, time trials and that stuff. And I followed suit. And then I went on to keep bike racing. And in 1984, I actually qualified for the Olympic trials in bike racing. And
That's
I was
so
trying to
cool.
do both skiing and bike racing, but I learned that we need to focus on one thing, because by trying to do both, I wasn't going to do my best at either. But yeah, my family has had a great influence on my skiing.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool. And yeah, it's amazing to even get to that point where you're in the Olympics, and because that was the previous era where they had the Olympics in the same year, the winter and the
Yeah,
summer. Now,
yeah.
if they had that staggered, do you think you could have done both?
I might have been able to, yeah. But with them the same year, there was no way. I was beating myself to a pulp trying to train for both.
Oof. Yeah, and they're both grueling sports with rough consequences if you're not 100% in the zone.
Yes, true. Good way to put it.
So now, after you were skiing, you kind of did a lot more with cycling after that, right?
Well, after skiing, I started racing mountain bikes, and I raced I was raising kids and racing here and there. So I didn't really focus on it, but I did race the pro expert level. And then I got to the point where I was winning some age class, national races. But that was just for fun. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
great way to segue out of skiing. It was a sport that was as exciting, but I could just do for fun. But
You
I
could put the kids
didn't.
behind you too, right in the little bike carrier
Oh,
as you're flying down,
absolutely. Oh,
hitting a few
yeah.
jumps.
But one thing I didn't do, I didn't race the downhills, the mountain bike downhill races, because I'd already done that. And I get to the point where I could keep up with anybody on the cross country downhill. Cross country, you go up and
Mountain
down.
biking, right? Yep.
I could keep up with anybody on the downhills, but I just didn't want to go into downhill racing on bikes, because I already did that. I survived it.
Yeah.
Good for me. Enough of that.
Now, again, this is I'm just grabbing out of the air here. Where do you think there's been more of a technology change in since you were, racing, in biking or in skiing?
Oh, that's a tough question, because the skis and the bindings are so much better now. The shaped skis are so much better.
So much
But the
easier for
bikes,
beginners.
wow, yes. But the bikes, they've come a long way. And now with the e-bikes, that's just
Oh, now you're
crazy.
just cheating at this point. It's just like a scooter.
True.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. Go
No, I
ahead.
just bought a new mountain bike 2 years ago, and I was mountain biking again, just doing a lot of cross country stuff back in like the 90s, and I bought a new bike this year with like or last year, the seat post that kind of like
Yes.
scooches down and stuff, and I was
Yes.
like, this is a great idea. Like, just the technology, like those little things, which again, like I had before then was 20 years old, and that's made a big difference. And you mentioned downhill mountain biking. I mean, the suspension travel they have now versus
Yes.
probably back in the 80s.
Oh,
You're
the suspensions
you're
come up.
taking like a 10 speed with thicker tires, like down a hill at 60 miles an hour, pretty much, right?
Well, when I was racing in the late 80s, we had, the ProFlex was the first bike with the the full suspension. And then, so we had full suspension, but it sure has come a long ways.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's that must have been if you gave one of those pro riders that bike from the 80s, now they'd be like, I'm not riding this thing.
It's so much harder. You can't go as fast.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's really, one of the most beautiful things about these sports is the technology has changed so much where you can do so much more being not needing that crazy, top 1% of the talent to maximize what your tools are.
Like the fat skis and the powder and the
Oh,
crud.
yeah.
What a difference.
Yeah, imagine taking your old downhill racing skis into a foot of powder versus what
I've done that.
I bet you have. But as soon as you get these new 125s underfoot, you're probably like, yeah, this is way more fun.
I know. It's like you're on water skis.
So easy, right?
Yeah.
So kind of on the same token is that, what do you think have been the best and worst changes that you've seen in the ski and snowboard industry since you've been involved?
Oh, the best is the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
The skis, like I mentioned, and the bindings are much better, but also the clothing. It's much more water repellent, but it's breathable, and also there's some stretch, so that's really nice.
Probably warmer too, right?
Yes. Well, we had the big old down puffy coats and stuff back in the day. Those were good. Those were nice and warm too, but
not aerodynamic enough though, right?
No, not for downhill.
You were losing 2-3 miles an hour with that big puffy coat.
At least.
Yeah. Any worse changes that you've?
Let's see. That's a good question. Well, I don't like the corporatization of the ski areas, but I mean, we could spend a lot of time talking about that. I liked it when the ski areas were privately owned and everything, but having the passes, the Epic and the Icon and so forth, that's really nice because you can travel and ski different ski areas. So it's a good and a bad. Right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I know everyone's kind of, and we're part of it. So jumping on the Epic fail bandwagon with, this year was obviously, they dropped the price, and as we saw, everybody bought it and everybody showed up, especially the big holiday weekends, and with all the issues with COVID and getting employees, it was just messy. And are you still in Park City now?
Yes, I actually moved 20 minutes away to Heber, Utah, which is a lot quieter. Park City got really, really busy. It's a beautiful place, and the skiing is amazing there. But Heber's quieter. It's kind of a ranching town, but it is growing like crazy now too.
I think everything kind of, the Salt Lake side and then the Park City side, it's just growing in whatever direction it can, because
yes,
I know a few people that left the East Coast and headed out there, and I'm jealous every single day.
It's busting at the seams out there, but I call it New Hampshire on steroids because the mountains are awesome, and well, the lakes aren't that great, but there are some lakes. They're mostly reservoirs, but the mountain biking is incredible. And of course, I love the mountain biking out there.
Yeah, for sure. And what is where's your home mountain now?
Park City and Deer Valley.
Okay.
I see both of those. I actually coached the Wasatch Freestyle ski team at Deer Valley.
Very cool.
I just coached the young big mountain skiers, to 10 to 12-year-olds. And it's great.
That's a fun age too. It's like before they get a little too cocky and annoying.
Yeah, they're just really excited and enthused, and they don't want to ski any groomed stuff.
No.
So we're all over the mountain except no groomed.
Oh, that's
fun.
So cool. And what are, of all your accomplishments, you talked about your World Cups, Olympics, what of your accomplishments are you the most proud of?
It has to be my first World Cup win at Bad Gastein, Austria in 1982, because I was the underdog. I was the one who was always scraping my way up. I didn't
Bag of bolts.
Yeah, I did bag of bolts. I didn't have the natural talent. I just kept going, and I knew, I knew in my gut that it was the right thing to do, and I had the gliding talent. But when I won that first World Cup, it was like, oh, wow, me? That's incredible. I won a World Cup. And then I won two more of them. But breaking through that ceiling was amazing for me.
Yeah, and I guess that's probably a good segue into like what you're doing now, because you're doing motivational speaking.
Yes, I have a book that's going to come out soon, sometime later this year. It's the secret to going from worst to first. It doesn't have an official title yet, but it's the 7 decisions that determine destiny. The 7 things that I learned in my quest, going from worst to first, that really apply to everyday life, and being our best and getting to the next level in our lives. So Kristen Cooper, who was on the US ski team when I was, and I think she won 6 World Cups, she is helping me edit it, and she is just amazing. And I'm also doing some motivational or inspirational speaking. And that's several years ago. I was mountain biking at the 8,000-foot level at Park City. It's called the Mid-Mountain Trail. And I looked out over Park City, and the leaves were turning colors. And I'm like, okay, what's going to be the next chapter of my life? Because, the kids are almost grown. I put everything into raising my kids. And what's going to happen from now on? It was a time of change. And what really came to me was that I want to make a difference. I want to share my wisdom, because I have a lot of wisdom. I've been through a lot and learned so many things that I think can really help people. So my driving force behind all of this is to make a difference in some people's lives and inspire.
And I mean, again, that's the greatest thing you can give back to the world is sharing your gifts and your knowledge.
Exactly.
And I love your 7 decisions here. Like I was just reading through them. They're on your website, hollyflanders.com, if anyone wants to check it out. And yeah, no, I love that number 1. Focus on one talent. As you kind of mentioned before with your skiing and biking, you could have done both, but you focused on your skiing.
Yes.
It's almost like saying get out of your way sometimes, because like that's a lot of times we're our own worst enemies, where we try to do too much instead of just finding that one thing that we can be the light, we can be that inspiration, and just focus on that.
Yes.
Yeah, but I do love these this decisions, the 7 decisions. So yeah, hollyflanders.com. And any other advice as a ski parent that you can give?
Make it fun. It's got to be fun. Or it just won't work. Make it fun. I always tell my favorite story from, when I was ski racing, how I got up, climbed another level in my skiing. Was one day I was sold in Austria at a training camp, and we were running giant slalom time trials, and I was placing last, with the US women's ski team, and there's some really top giant slalom skiers there. And I was thinking, okay, I'm on a plateau. I'm placing 20th in World Cup downhills, and I'm not advancing from that. I'm stuck on this plateau, and I don't want to remain stuck there. If I'm going to keep ski racing, I really want to, get to a higher level. And I'd been working so hard and training so hard and trying really hard. And all I'd been focused on was, trying hard and how I was placing, stuff like that. So I'm thinking something has to change. I kind of stand there and empty my mind out and look out over the Alps. And I realize, I've been here all these days and I haven't even seen these mountains. And they're incredibly beautiful. They're unbelievable. There's, glistening snow and glaciers coming down, and the browns and the grays, blue sky. Hadn't even noticed it. So I just took it in. I go, wow, I get to be here. I get to do this. So I just let it all in. And then I started skiing with that feeling, and I was noticing how beautiful the turns felt. I was savoring the turns, and wow, I jumped into the giant slalom time trial and won that run. I was the fastest.
Wow, I'm going from 20th to first.
Well, there were only like probably 8 or 10 girls, but I was placing last in these giant slalom time trials at this training camp. So I won that time trial, and the rest of the time trials, I either, I won or I was up high in the rankings. And then that translated over to my racing season with the downhills. And that later that year, I won the national championships downhill in Alaska. And then the next winter I qualified and went to the 1980 Olympics in Lake Placid. So, it was just one of my steps, but it got me to a higher level. So it's just noticing the beauty, putting yourself in the mindset where you're experiencing the beauty. And what that does is it opens your heart, and it puts you in a state of mind where you can succeed, where things flow better for you rather than, being all constricted. I kind of look at it as a performance hack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that art of being grateful, just starting out there kind of, like I said, opens yourself up to new opportunities and new ways of looking at things.
Exactly.
That's a beautiful thing.
It's huge.
Well, Holly, thank you so much for your time. If people want more information, hollyflanders.com.
Yes.
Anywhere else they should go to check out more information about you?
That'll get them right to me.
Excellent. And a huge congratulations on your induction to the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
It's this weekend, right? Is it actually today?
It's tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, Saturday?
Bretton Woods, New Hampshire.
Beautiful. Holly, congratulations, and thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, excellent. Congrats and enjoy the weekend.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hope everyone enjoyed that. If you want more information, check us out at skibumpodcast.com or check her out at hollyflanders.com. Thank you, everyone, for listening. We do appreciate it. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. Socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Untapped at Ski Bump Podcast. Send us an email, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you to our sponsors, Terracea, terracea.com. Use the code TerraceaBump, 15% off. Paradise Skis, paradiseskis.com. Use the code SKIBUMP15, 15% off. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Stay high, stay fluid.
See ya.